Welcome back, y'all. This is Ren Plays here with an episode of Mini Motorways. So, I decided that it was going to be best to go ahead and do multiple series rather than just do one singular series because that's going to get boring over time, and I feel like it would be better to add some flavoring in, you know? So, I decided to come to Mini Motorways. It's a game that's on Steam for $9.99, and if you have a PC and Steam, I'd really recommend trying it out. Let's get right into it. We're going to start with the first map, Los Angeles. So, as you can see, the goal, you got a supermarket, a house, you connect them together. It's simple. It's a really easy game. Like, all you gotta do is connect everything, you know? Anyways, ignoring that, let's just move on. So basically, you'll get the extra houses, and each of those pins is when someone wants to go on a journey. So, like, go to the supermarket, get something. And yeah, I'm just going to say supermarket instead of, like, grocery store, because I found this game whenever a man named Civil Engineer made clips of it, and he calls it a supermarket. He also calls the leveled up buildings IMAX cinemas. I have no clue what an IMAX cinema is, but out of respect for him getting me hooked to the game, that's what I'm going to call it. So yeah, you have all these journeys to be made, and so it'll send out cars from the different houses to send them to the store and get them. And you'll notice I have now a red supermarket and a red house. And it starts off, as you saw, with this little simple map. There's nothing special to it. It's really small. It only goes out to the Los Angeles server. And this is 2x speed for the game. But you'll notice the map is slowly expanding outwards to the right and to the bottom. And over time, it's going to expand and come to a full size after about week 8, I believe. But at the end of every week, you get upgrades that are able to help you out. In early game, traffic lights are generally better than roundabouts, so I decided to go with the traffic lights for the first upgrade. As you can see, the game is cruising along quite well. We now have 2 supermarkets to go to, and the map has now expanded about 2 rows more to the right than what it was originally at, so, and I believe it's also expanded downwards. We have another yellow house to add on, and this is, as you can see, we just got another edge row right there to add on to, and I decided that what I was going to do was I was going to improv that, and it's better if you have 2 houses, they're able to feed into the supermarkets. So I decided to feed it in that way. Then we get this blue house, so I decided I was going to unfortunately have to intermingle the roads, which is not nice because the main way to lose this is get excess traffic. So unfortunately I had to intermingle that with the red roads. And then at the end of week 2, since I hadn't used traffic lights yet, I didn't need more, so I took the 30 road tiles. And after that, we had the 4th set of a supermarket and house add-on, and this was another red set. And as you can see, we have a row of 3 supermarkets, and then we have our 4th one and then the 5th one. So that one I decided to leave on its own circuit because 1 house can run a supermarket. Generally, you want at least 2 houses in case there's traffic. And so I decided to rework some things a bit. And then we got another one, and this is light blue. So we now have light blue, dark blue, 2 yellows, and 2 reds. So going diagonally for the road takes up less tiles generally, so I decided to rework some of the roads. And then we instantly got another one, and this is a different red. And I decided that we were close enough to the end of the week that I was going to see possibly I could get a highway or something, but I don't think. And here we go. We have a motorway. So motorway, it's just a highway. It doesn't take up any road tiles. It can stretch across the map. It can go over water. It's pretty nice. So see, for like if I wanted that. Now, that's obviously not in use right now, but we're going to save it for later. And we're just going to use the original 3 red buildings because they'll be able to power the 2 supermarkets for now. And I also installed a traffic light, and then I decided to remove it and reroute the blues to go around through the yellow path because it was just going to be slightly faster than going through the original red path. At this time, I got another supermarket that was in the light blue section, and we're starting to have like a little light blue suburbs over here, so I don't know why I decided to have the suburbs of all 4 houses just go to the 2 supermarkets. Thinking back, I probably should have split them off just for some slightly faster traffic. After that, I got another bridge and some more road tiles, and the bridges are good for going over the water, so that's very nice to go over. Makes your job a lot easier here. And as you can see over there, there's an area we're going to eventually have another supermarket that's going to fill up there. And that's why they give us so many parking spaces. So it's nice that we have the parking spaces, but having 2 buildings side by side often causes everything to be intermingled because it rarely picks the same colors. So at this time we have a little red civilization, a second red civilization, the yellow civilization, the yellow and dark blue civilization pretty much, and then the light blue civilization. I say civilization, they're more like neighborhoods pretty much. It's just like the different suburbs, they don't really like mingling with each other. But we got an extra yellow house that just added itself straight on to the reds, and I decided to remove it from that for a bit. And as you can see, we're starting to rack up a decent amount of journeys. And we're coming close to another week, and I decided, why not get another motorway, because we were already doing pretty good bridge-wise. So, and I was debating if I was going to put one somewhere, and then I realized that I had another new neighborhood, and that was the green neighborhood. So this was the first time that we ended up using a bridge just to get them across the, I believe it's the San Gabriel River in the game. But yeah, it's the Little Canal River, and these are the 2 rivers that appear on this map. So it'll expand out slightly more, but you have you have 3 little parks around here. You have the 2 rivers, you have the bay, you have the other bay, and that red building just upgraded. So I decided to do a bit of reworking traffic to fit things around there. Get some extra red houses pumping in, and then we got a yellow supermarket to go beside it. So the red circular buildings, as a real civil engineer called them, they're IMAX cinemas. No clue what that is. Anyways, we have these reds, and I decided that I was probably going to end up piping those into the IMAX cinema later. And for some reason, I didn't get around to that for a good long while. At the end of week 5, start of week 6, I got some more road tiles, and at this point, I had rerouted, so the original 3 red houses went to the IMAX, 2 of them went to the 1 supermarket, 2 of them went to the other supermarket around the top, and then you only have, once again, we only have 1 commingled area right now, and that is the dark blue yellow area. And I have, at this point, it upgraded to another IMAX, and so I decided that I was probably going to need a few more yellow houses. Say, for example, the ones up top in the corner, and at that moment, it gave us another one. So we're starting to build like a yellow suburb up there, and then we got a 4th house right there, and so we got a 5th house. And I was starting to think, how can I use these houses because they're super far off? We got a 6th house, and then I remembered I do have the highways, the motorways, and I decided that I was going to connect those up after I got a 7th house. We also had the one start spawning in over by the other supermarket, and we had those reds that I finally decided to connect up to the red IMAX. I decided that I was going to reroute those yellows to go to the original yellow building and send a motorway for those. We then connected the reds, got right back to it. After that, I decided to connect the other dark blue house and then just let it run for a bit, because that's the main thing you can do with it, is just let it run. And decided, after getting some more houses, to make a motorway to the blues. And this got 3 of the blue houses in use, and then we had 5 houses for the remaining 2 light blue settlements. So it was all turning out very nice and coming along really well. And I'm starting to be really proud of the design, because no main issues so far, nothing that we've had a timer on. So if you take too long on the buildings, it'll give you a timer, and if that timer runs out, then you'll lose the game. So as of right now, I hadn't gotten any timers yet, so that was very nice. Came to the end of week 7, start of week 8, and I decided that I was going to go ahead and get another bridge, just in case I need to use any more. I'd already used one for the green civilization, and I didn't want to have to use any extras. But it's always better to have extras on hand than to run out. And at that moment, we got another greenhouse, another light blue house, and we had another yellow house up at the top. So the whole civilization was expanding, which is very good for business. And then we had our first main problem child of the game. So when deciding how I was going to do this, I had 2 light blue houses over there that I was going to end up working through and around, and I decided to use a bridge to come under here. But before, I did a really bad job of planning out that bridge, and then I pressed play instantly. And since cars were already attempting to use that bridge, it just reset the entire bridge. So it was a very bad process on my part, and I did not think that over. So, like I said, this is our first problem child for the game. I'll come back to how I fixed it in a minute. But while we were going on, we had another dark blue pop up at the top for some reason. I have no idea why it would spawn up there. That was like the worst spawning. And then we also have that little red suburb that's just spawned in there for a bit. So, everything's running along quite smoothly, and then we get another green. So, I decided to connect all the greens and try and figure out what I'm going to do around here. To be honest, at this point, I had no clue. It was starting to get really annoying because I was going to need to borrow a motorway real quick. And this time, I decided to go ahead and take care of the original problem child, which I managed to solve this time by rebuilding before I let the cars drive on it, and therefore it would let me edit it because no cars had been assigned to go down the road. So, as you see, I was able to make the bridge go closer to the water, use less tiles, and be overall better. For the motorway, I was struggling, however, because, once again, another problem child. This was problem child 2. The greenhouses going along with supermarket. Problem child 3. There's a lot of problem children here. Very annoying. But, you know, there's only so much that you can do for it. And then we got another motorway, which was very nice because we were running out of area. So, I went ahead and connected that up. And you'll notice that we just got another red supermarket down by all of the blue houses. And I now had an excess of those red houses up there. And I decided I was going to connect those down rather than using the other houses that were too far away. So, we're getting along, and you saw me move the motorway. I realized that the motorways have fun physics that, like, saw me bend the one along, and I connected that house down there, and then I just played around with the motorways because they have all the bendy physics. You'll notice that the map has at this point stopped expanding, so this is the maximum size of the map so far, but we're coming along pretty well. There's a few yellow houses that started spawning in the middle of the map for some reason. And start of week 10, I decided to get more traffic lights because I had not had any space to use roundabout so far. Was building my way along, and I decided to... I debated if I was going to add a traffic light up at the top. I ended up deciding against it because there wasn't enough traffic to really need one at that point. You'll notice that I moved the motorway to be slightly more straight and take slightly less time because that yellow IMAX building is filling up really fast. And the reds also kind of took up a lot of the parking spots, so it was kind of like, it was really bad having the two IMAX buildings right beside each other. And then we also had the blue IMAX building, but that one was being housed by 6 different blue buildings, and then we got another yellow building. So this one was in very unfortunate placement, so I decided I was gonna reroute like 3 of the random houses just around the edge. This took a lot of road pieces to accomplish, but we had crossed and it instantly upgraded to an IMAX after like 5 seconds. Now we had crossed at this point, I believe, 1100 journeys so far, so that was very nice to have, but once again, the instant upgrade to an IMAX is really horrible timing. And then we had another red house spawn over there for some reason. So at this point, we just kind of had the red houses out the wazoo everywhere. The IMAX buildings, especially for some reason the blue one, was starting to overflow a good bit. And then I went around the map, and you'll notice all those marks everywhere. Those were to stop extra supermarkets from spawning, because you're able to kind of work around the system a bit. With the map being at its full size, I didn't need any extra supermarkets. So since they have to be spawned in 2x3 or 3x2, I just eliminated them from spawning. At this point, I was going around, checking on my work, making sure that all the houses were connected, and I rerouted a blue house down, and then I ended up deciding to go ahead and reroute most of the blue houses down because I had an extra whole suburb that I was going to be able to take around the top. This was the main attempt to reduce any congestion that was occurring up top and also put the houses to use. And I decided to use my roundabout up there. I got some more traffic lights, and I was doing pretty well because this was only my second time playing, and the first time I got a score of 600. Don't really know what I was doing, but we've already doubled that, so I was doing very well on everything. Everything seemed to be running fine, but this is mini Motorways, so as soon as you think that something's gonna run fine, suddenly it doesn't anymore. Welcome to like most video games. So with the 3 motorways that have been crossing everything, we had the roundabout in use. The only thing that I hadn't really used was a few of the traffic lights. And you'll notice in the bottom right hand corner that even with all of those houses pushing in, that is still taking a very long time to get to the journeys, and there's a lot of extra journeys waiting down there. Had another red suburb, which was really nice because that red upgraded at like the worst possible time, and so I had to add a stoplight in between the red building and the blue buildings because they had a bit of extra crossing paths. And then the dark blue was also starting to take a while to get to their destination, and I decided to get another bridge just to be safe. So at this point, suddenly we had both the dark blue buildings taking a while, 3 of the red buildings taking a while, and 2 of the yellow buildings taking a while. So this was very quickly coming back to hurt me, just from the randomization and the speed of which I was able to get to them because of how badly placed they were. So you'll notice that the yellow in the bottom has a lot of journeys that need to be made. It was really bad planning on my part, but also just the city being designed poorly and I didn't have any more motorways. Because if I had a motorway, that would have went a lot faster. But there's only so much that I was able to do for it down there. We were getting extra yellow houses up at the original site, so looking back on it now, I probably should have connected some of those to the other building, which would have been faster, and then I could have saved the motorway for getting down to the bottom right. Because try as the cars might, it was taking them a good bit, and they were managing to fight it off pretty well, but there's only so much that they're able to do to fight it. But yeah, the city was coming along pretty well. We just had a few random houses start spawning areas. I started to not be able to keep up with them because I'd hear the sound and then I wouldn't be able to actually find the house because they would just connect to random roads. So, week 13, I decided to go with the motorway again, and the one thing that I was debating is I was running really low on road tiles, and I noticed up at the top for a second, I just, up at the blue, it was making a timer. So the timer, once again, that was the first time that it popped up, and that's where bad things start to happen, because running out on the timer will cause you to lose the game. And I was getting ready to have 3 timers start to run, and we had the yellow one run, and then it popped back. And I decided to route another yellow house into that, and reroute some extras, because we had some that weren't in use for the other. And then the green building upgraded to another IMAX. So at this point we had 6 IMAXs, 2 reds, 2 yellows, a green, and a light blue. No dark blue IMAXs, but I went around, decided to break all that, and use our extra motorway to connect down and give them fast travel. This managed to be the saving factor for that section, coming along very nicely. And the original dark blue problem child was actually coming along pretty well. I hadn't had any issues so far, but I noticed it was starting to stack up a bit. And the other dark blue looks like it might become a problem child because it had a few extra stacks on it, but I decided to not worry about it and get back to doing a bit of remodeling around the place. So I moved a few of the yellow houses around for a tiny bit. It was coming along alright. Hadn't really had many issues with it. And at this point I was getting, I believe, 2100 journeys in. And you're like, wow, you're doing really well. Which I was doing really well, to be fair, but all of the IMAXs suddenly got really close to the timers. So that yellow one happened, and then the other yellow one, even with the highway, still almost got the timer. The yellow one had the timer come back. The reds weren't doing too hot. The green wasn't doing too hot. The light blue wasn't doing too hot. And now both of the yellows had timers. And another light blue upgraded to an IMAX. So at this point I was trying to figure out how can I salvage the run, how can I fix everything, and starting to run out of ideas because, like I said, 2 timers, whenever they both have highways connecting directly to them, like what do you do? And then the light blue up at the top and the red right next to it also started timers, and the 2 red IMAX buildings were almost full wheels and about to start timers as well. So I was just trying to figure out how many more trips I could get in before my run ended. And this is the point where everything started breaking down. So I decided to move the motorway slightly closer to most of the houses, which really wasn't for much. It probably got me like 1 extra journey. And I also tried to make the motorways as straight as possible to see if they could get there that fast. But in the end, there's not that much you're able to do for the whole thing, so you kind of just have to sit back and watch. And we had so many timers around everywhere, and I realized that we were, in fact, going to run out of time. The only question was which yellow building would do it first. This is the point where the run came to the unfortunate end, due to just the sheer overflow of yellows. I mean, not being able to salvage it. Just let it happen. And we had 2,557 travel over 102 days. That, for my second run, my first ever try at it, very nice. Thank you for watching today's video, and in the next episode, we are going to be doing some of the challenges on the Los Angeles map. So, if you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. It would really help me out on getting monetized on my journey along the way through YouTube. Thank you all for watching once again, and I hope that wherever you are, whatever you're going through, that you have a good day. See you again next time.